It's June 14th, Ed. Why are you so late?
Who was in France for 3 weeks? Who was that guy?
Woo! 3 weeks. Wow, it was really something because we didn't want to come home.
Really?
We went saw Lafitte.
Whose?
We saw Lafitte's.
Whose seat?
Not Mike Houlihan's Barefoot Cellars.
Oh, I see.
No, it was pretty spectacular. You know what's interesting?
A lot of things.
Pauillac is a depressed town that almost looks boarded up.
You're kidding?
No.
Really?
Yes.
Are you kidding? With all those wines that are $1,000 each?
Across the street is like some of the wealthiest wineries in the world, right?
Okay, that's a shocker. Yeah, I'll go along with that.
You look one direction, you see the tower for Chateau Latour, and you look the other direction, you see the castle for Lafitte.
Yeah, right.
In the middle, you're like, it's depressing. I mean, Sandra and I walked the river edge, and it's just like these people. It's just terrible. It was really sad.
That makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
You would
food, no restaurants of any consequence.
Wow. Okay.
It's pretty interesting, but I had to make the trip. You know, it's one of those deals where if you make somebody gives you the opportunity, it's like, okay, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. So, but not to be paled, because it was very interesting. Of course, it's not tourist trade, right? You don't just walk into tasting.
Well, no, that's
Nothing.
true.
There's not even a public entrance to speak of. They don't walk up to the wine and go, they
really
enter here.
That is shocking.
Happen.
Okay.
So, but we went to Beaujolais.
Okay.
On a separate part of the trip, and that was fascinating.
Okay.
Chateau de Jacques, which is Louis Jadot property.
Oh yeah, well Jadot was kind of king over there.
Yeah, but it's phenomenal wines down in the cellar. It was really
people don't understand how good those wines can be. When you start to get into those Cru Beaujolais from the villages like Morgon and those wines are delicious. Yeah. They are really good.
And this guy's sort of ambassador. His name is Cyril. He was here. We did an interview with him, but he's an ambassador sort of for Beaujolais. He's just like, look, Beaujolais is not Nouveau.
Oh, no, that's true. No, as a matter of fact, I would think the Beaujolais people hate Nouveau, but they don't have a choice now.
They don't have a choice.
Anyway.
So, 40 years ago, 1978, man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
The June selection, which is interesting, is a Hacienda Zin.
Yeah.
Which is bizarre because we have a Zin this time around.
Well, yeah, that's bizarre.
And the other was the Corvo
White.
That's Sicilian, no?
It's Sicilian. What's interesting, Duca de Salaparuta was the name of the winery, and Corvo is the area, and that was one of the most popular wines in the country. Now I know who you are. You get that in France, too? It never ends.
I've been dying to pull that one off, Ed.
I'm glad you did.
But I remember the Corvo wine. I remember being on the shelf.
And Hacienda, God, I remember Hacienda. They went out of business like so many other wineries and were bought out by Franzier, the name was.
Oh, that's right.
And so I don't know what they're doing now. And I'm sure that the property is something else. Hacienda was in Sonoma, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and it was, that's right, it was bought out by, we did a lot of their wines, actually, over the years.
Well, they made some great wines. Hacienda was a damn good winery, and exactly what happened, who knows? I mean, it's not the easiest business in the world, that's for sure. And those are our two wines from 40 years ago.
Cheers, we're looking forward to seeing on the flip side.
This is my host, Paul Kalemkiarian, and I'm his hostess, Ed Masciana.
Yeah, we're not going to do this gender thing, are we?
No. And our first wine.
These are. We just had a winemaker in from Italy who was fascinating. No, nice guy. But why did you do the red first?
Well, because that's the first one on the list.
Okay. So this one just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I know it did.
It's so classic.
It's sort of annoying because they didn't want to tell us who made it because it comes from a pretty well-known winery, and of course they don't like their name being used for a wine that sells for half of their wines, and it's every bit as good.
This, we don't do a lot of Zins. We haven't tasted many lately, and this one rolled in here, and I was really impressed.
Oh, this is really good. I mean, this is absolutely delicious wine.
And it's Lodi Zin, which is, I think, one of the great districts for Zinfandel in California. And as we all know, Zinfandel we were in Croatia as well, which is amazing. If you ever get a trip, you got to go to Croatia. Isn't that where they decided that the Zin was from?
Right, Plavik Maule is the grape.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, what's his name over at the guy who worked for Chateau Maule and made the Chardonnay that wanted, Mike Gergich. He made a Zinfandel and called it Plavik Maule.
Really?
From Napa Valley. Yeah, it was pretty funny. Well, because he made that grape in Croatia. You know.
Well, and I can tell you, most of the restaurants we went to in Croatia, there were no wines other than Croatian wines. And so I would defer to the sommelier to suggest. And they were all great. They were very good wines.
We've had some, and they were phenomenal. Anyway, this is a terrific Zinfandel for $18.99. And a reorder at $7.99, about as good a wine as you're going to get for $8, and I'm at a 98. I think this wine's amazing.
In this.
Because you know what? These wines can get a little alcoholic and a little sweet and a little overbearing, and this is perfect.
It's got great balance.
It's got terrific.
It's only $13.9 actually, which is pretty interesting.
Well, yeah, it's interesting.
You're not so interesting, but the wine's interesting.
I'm on a need-to-know basis, and apparently I don't need to know.
Production value.
Now, this was a really interesting wine because this is Chenin Blanc from Clarksburg.
Not the last Chenin in Clarksburg. That's Clarksville.
That's Clarksville, yeah. We don't have a lot of time, and you're using it all up. Clarksville, see what you did to me. Clarksburg is without question the best place to grow Chenin Blanc in the United States. I mean, there's no question whatsoever. Anybody who makes great Chenin Blanc, Dry Creek, Chalon, all the grapes come from Clarksburg because there's something about that area that just goes nuts.
You know, the last one I remember doing was like R.H. Phillips or something. Clarksburg Chenin. And this is all classic Chenin. I get apricots all over the place.
It's just apricot, pineapple, a little white peach. It's just an amazing bottle of wine, you know, and $6.99 reorder price. God, I could drink this forever. You know,
It'd be a great summer sipper quaffer. 2017.
Well, but it's got more body to it than that.
label.
You know, you could have this with filet of sole. You could have this with, with some pasta fish dishes with tomato sauce because it's got acidity. It's got presence. It's just delicious.
Have you found or heard or read that some of this classic French cuisine is coming back? Because I could see this with some.
I've
creamy
heard
chicken.
that. I've heard, yeah, but you know, who eats like that anymore?
Well, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out because we had incredible. I mean, we went to some 3-star restaurants. We had a 4-hour meal in Monaco. I mean, it was all really pretty amazing. But let me tell you the best meal, other than entertaining the idea that Michelin stars and these famous Paul Bocuse and Alain Ducasse and all that. In Croatia, in a little town called Hvar, which is this little sea village, which is nothing. It's a wonderful place to visit.
Nicer than Pujak?
Yeah, much nicer. And we hiked around. I used one of the apps, Foursquare or something, and found this little Australian-owned cafe. And I'm telling you, one of the best meals I've ever had. And guess what I had in Croatia? The green chili burrito and the pulled pork sandwich, along with the arugula pizza. And I'm telling you, it was fresh ingredients, amazingly good quality. And I told the guy later, I said, we've been all over Europe. And I've been to 3-star restaurants. This is one of the most satisfying meals we had.
It sounds so Croatian to me.
I know, isn't that bizarre? Well, they don't eat fish. They don't eat fish. Okay. This whole Mecedora thing is just intriguing the hell out of me. I was brought these Mecedora wines of various prices in bottlings.
Holy mackerel!
And the guy said, they're here in America, and we don't have to do with them. I'm like, I bought them all.
The wine is amazing. I mean, it's $22.99 retail, $7.99 reorder. I'm a 99 on this one. I mean, this wine is out of this world. You throw in the price and it's 100 points.
It's a Merlot, which you wouldn't know. It's got a wonderful backbone.
It does have a tremendous backbone. It's got a lot of guts to it.
Wonderful classic green,
a little bit
green
of
pepper nose.
Green pepper, but it's also got great black cherry plum fruit.
Wow, this is a cellar star right here.
Unbelievable.
We have it at a 96. I'm saying 98.
I'm at 99. So there.
Well, you're just getting old. You're just cranking everything up.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, this nose. I'm intrigued by the nose. Really intrigued by the nose.
Next, last but not least.
Oh, another Chilean wine too.
He buys them, but he forgets them. He doesn't. Are we selling this? How much is it?
Before I left for Europe, I wanted to make sure we bought everything, so I didn't want to screw around. And I've worked really hard to find some wines, and we got. There's so much wine. I mean, you were saying the barrel samples you've been getting haven't been that great.
No, they've been terrible. Absolutely terrible.
The bottle stuff I've been getting has been very good.
Well, they don't. If it's really good, they're going to bottle it, okay? Because and not sell it in bulk. But there's so much wine out there that somewhere along the line, somebody's got to play with the price.
And the reason I bought this now to taste it again, it's so atypical. There's no grass. There's no. It's almost Napa-like. There's no.
It really is.
Grapefruit.
A little soil component in there.
Just a
still
full-bodied Sauvignon Blanc.
a little grassiness, but very little in the nose.
Nose
Just
is
enough,
loaded.
just enough to tell you that it's Sauvignon Blanc. But I really like that shy little stone fruit in there too. $19.99 on the shelf, $6.99 reorder. I'm at a 96 too.
This would be a crowd pleaser.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, unless you don't like wine. Then,
Right, well, then you got a problem.
You got a problem. You wouldn't be watching this anyway. So
That's probably true, except for the comedy.
and that's our classic series for June 2018.
Cheers.